Ahoj, vítejte na mém kanále Czech by Zuzka, kde vám pomocí angličtiny vysvětluju českou gramatiku. This video is a continuation of the video I published on Monday where I spoke about dative and how it's being used for asking about certain activities or talking about them. For instance, jak se ti běhalo? How was your run? Or jak se ti žije v Praze? How do you like living in Prague? In this part, we are also going to be talking about the dative case as our main character of the video. And I'm going to give you examples of more phrases that have a very different structure from English. Just take a look at this one. Jak se ti žije v Praze? How do you like living in Prague? But you is expressed by the dative case. So if we translate it literally, it sounds very strange. How is it living to you in Prague? Doesn't make sense. This is an impersonal way of expressing something. How is life treating you in Prague? Before I talk about more ways to use the dative, let's review it very briefly. And I'll give you examples of the remaining forms that we can use in a place like this. These are the remaining forms. My, to me. Ti, to you. Mu, to him. Jí, to her. Nám, to us. Vám, to you. From vy. And jim means to them. That's when you translate it out of context. When it's in a context, sometimes it's not translated this way, just like here. Jak se ti žije v Praze? How is life treating you in Prague? How are you enjoying living in Prague? You could also replace ti by vám. For instance, jak se vám žije v Praze? And you could answer, žije se nám dobře. We like it here. We like living here. Our life is good. Let's take a look at these sentences where dative can be translated as a possessive pronoun in English. I also talked about this in one of the videos that in Czech we use the possessive pronouns můj, moje, tvůj, tvoje much less than in English. And this is one way to go around it using the dative. Ztratil se mi formulář. We see the dative is here. Think for a second and tell me, what do you think this means? Formulář means a form. Ztratil se comes from ztratit. Ztratit se means to be lost. That's a passive voice. So this means I lost the form. It's a little bit different than saying ztratila jsem or ztratil jsem formulář, because that one is personal. You admit it. Yes, I lost the form. That's direct. Ztratil se mi formulář. Yes, I lost it, but maybe it wasn't my fault. Maybe somebody misplaced it. The wind took it away. Who knows? Ztratil se mi formulář. I happened to have lost the form. Remember, ztratil se, this is the verb. And formulář, this is the subject. So we are saying the form was lost to me. Again, it doesn't make sense. But this would work as my form got lost. Let's take a look at the second sentence. Vybil se mi telefon. We can clearly see the dative here. So we're talking about my phone and what happened to it. Vybil se. Vybít se means to run out of battery, completely dead. My phone died. Remember, telephone is the subject, so we are referring to the phone. The phone ran out of power. My phone ran out of power. Třesou se mi ruce. My hands are shaking. My hands are shaking. And you can clearly see ruce, hands, that's the subject. The verb is třást se. Třást se. It's a very interesting and onomatopoeic word. Třást se. Tremble, shake. And hands are shaking. To me, my hands are shaking. This sentence is the only one that doesn't have the se part. Umřel mi křeček. Křeček is a hamster. My hamster died. Umřel mi křeček. Let's do a quick exercise. Let's replace all these dative forms by a different person. Instead of me, we will say nám, to us. So we're going to be talking about something of ours. Ztratil se nám formulář. We lost our form. Vybil se nám telefon, třesou se nám ruce, umřel nám křeček. And you can do more combinations like this. Remember, mu is for him and he is for her. So you could also alternate. You could say, vybil se mu telefon, his phone died. How would you say, her hamster died? Umřel jí křeček. Perfect, it's that easy. Are you ready for this? I collected several phrases that take the dative and you just have to memorize them as they are. Remember the construction or simply just learn these phrases, remember the translation and use them when the time is right. Let's take a look. Není mi do řeči. Není mi do řeči. I don't feel like talking. The verb is here. Není, it isn't. Then we have řeč. Řeč means speech. That is actually the genitive case. I'm not gonna get into the literal translation. I don't feel like talking. Není mi do řeči. Není mi do řeči. You can say something similar. Je mi do breku. Je mi do breku. I feel like crying. Je mi do breku. The same way, the verb is here, the verb to be. Do breku, this is the genitive case. Brek means the cry, crying. And mi, that's me, who feels like crying. Je mi do breku. Není mi do řeči. In the same way, you could also say, je mi do smíchu. I feel like laughing. Co je ti do toho? What do you care? Co je ti do toho? The verb to be right here. Do toho, that's genitive again. What is it to you? Kind of. Co je ti do toho? If someone's too nosy, just tell them off. Say, co je ti do toho? Přijde mi to vtipné. Přijde mi to vtipné. The verb is přijít. I find this funny. These phrases are quite informal, so this is more like, I think it's funny. It comes to me as funny. You can replace this with another adjective. You can say přijde mi to divné. I think it's strange. Přijde mi to divné. Záleží mi na tom. I care about it. It's important to me. Záleží mi na tom. Tom, this is why I have the green marker here. This is the locative case. It matters to me. Depending on what matters, that will be the locative case. If we wanted to say you matter to me, you're important to me, it would be here and it would be in the locative. Záleží mi na tobě. And this sentence that you probably know uses the same construction. Stýská se mi po manželovi. I miss my husband. Stýská se mi po manželovi. That's also the locative case. And the verb here is stýskat se. This is quite a tricky sentence. Just memorize some sample sentences because digging in and finding how this sentence was constructed can make you crazy. Stýskat se. Stýská se mi po manželovi, stýská se mi po tobě, stýská se mi po rodině. I miss my family. I also forgot to mention here, the verb is záležet, to matter. And our last sentence is vyhovuje mi to. Vyhovuje mi to. This is the verb vyhovovat. It's quite a mouthful. Vyhovovat. Try it. Vyhovovat. Vyhovovat. Okay, now what does it mean? It suits me. I'm fine with that. It's an alternative of the sentence hodí se mi to. Hodí se mi to. Which is also something like it's suitable, it's okay for me. Hodí se mi to. And the verb is hodit se. There are more phrases, but I don't want this video to be too long. I'm thinking of maybe putting them all together and creating a worksheet at some point. Maybe in the near future there will be something like that and I will let you know. And just like we did a few minutes ago, you can also replace the forms of the dative and put something else. For instance, you could ask more people, what do you guys care about? Co je vám do toho? Co je vám do toho? You could also say to someone, oh, you don't feel like talking, right? Není ti do řeči, co? Není ti do řeči. Or they miss their hamster. Stýská se jim po... Okay, what happens with křeček? Po křečkovi. Stýská se jim po křečkovi. They miss their hamster. Think of more combinations. You can play with these sentences. Change the dative form. You can also change the verb, use it in the past, replace this with another word, and write it in the comments. Let's see what sentences we can put together. I'll check them and let you know if they are okay. That's all from me today. I hope you learned a lot. And if you would like to practice all these cases without going crazy, don't forget to check out my ebook Just in Case. Mějte se moc krásně a uvidíme se za týden. Ahoj!